What if I told you that a $500 million gold robbery was about to happen not on the ground, but 40,000 feet up in the sky? And to complete this impossible mission, Master Thief Cyrus Whitaker and his elite crew were ready to risk everything. First, the leader of the team, Cyrus, is introduced. Then Camilla, the pilot, is shown. After that, Misun, the team's hacker, is introduced. Next, Magnus, the safebreaker, is shown, followed by Luke. There are also other skilled members of the crew. The scene then shifts to the sale of N8's NFT. N8 is shown during the auction while Abby, who is Cyrus's ex-girlfriend, watches him through a camera. The bidding starts at $100,000, and eventually Cyrus offers $200,000. Suddenly, the lights go out, and the NFT is stolen. Along with it, N8 is also kidnapped. Later, N8 is brought onto Cyrus's boat. After this, a man meets Abby and asks her to convince Cyrus to do another robbery. Then Lars Jorgensen is introduced. It is explained that he manipulated the stock market for his own benefit. Whenever terrorist attacks happened, stock prices dropped, allowing him to make huge profits. Now Lars has joined forces with the Leviathan hackers and is planning something much bigger. He plans to pay them in gold bars, and together they could cause massive destruction. Everyone believes they must be stopped before they destroy everything. Later, Abby visits Cyrus to convince him to take part in the mission. After talking for a while, she reveals the real reason for her visit. She wants Cyrus to steal something for them. At first, Cyrus refuses. Abby asks if he knows Lars Jorgensen, and Cyrus says yes. However, he explains that he does not accept every job. Finally, Abby tells him that he has no choice and could end up in jail if he refuses. After much discussion, Cyrus agrees and says he will do one last job. The team then gathers for a meeting and Abby joins them. At first, the team is scared and refuses to participate, but eventually everyone agrees because they find the mission exciting. Abby explains Lars Jorgensen's plan in detail. She tells them that the gold will be transported on a passenger plane, and they must steal it while the plane is still in the air. It is also revealed that Lars is extremely dangerous and kills anyone who betrays him. Later, the team discusses the mission again. Since they need another aircraft, they visit a man who owns planes. At first, he refuses to help, but after a long conversation, he finally agrees and provides them with a plane. Cyrus then explains the entire mission to the team. He describes how they will use a second plane and fly close enough to remain hidden from radar. The full plan is shown on screen. The team begins preparing for the mission. Magnus tests a laser system to open the safe, but he warns that it may not work properly because of the turbulence in the air. Meanwhile, other team members practice flying because they will need to pilot the aircraft during the mission. Later, one of the older team members warns Cyrus not to go through with the robbery, because it is extremely dangerous. He also advises Cyrus to stay away from Abby because she could bring trouble. News reports reveal that the Leviathan hackers have already started their attacks. Cyrus watches the news while the team argues about the mission. In the end, they decide to continue, and even the older team member agrees. The news later shows that the hackers are causing even more chaos, and Lars watches the reports happily because his plan is finally underway. Soon everything is ready, and both planes prepare for takeoff. Lars's associate boards the plane carrying the gold, and the gold bars are also shown. Inside the aircraft, every team member begins working. Misun starts hacking, Magnus prepares to crack the safe, and Camilla pilots the plane. Later, Misun notices several suspicious men on board who appear to be watching them. Meanwhile, Abby goes to the bathroom to install a device that will block the plane's signals. However, one of Lars's men becomes suspicious and follows her. The device accidentally breaks, and Cyrus arrives to help Abby. Lars's man also shows up, but somehow Cyrus and Abby manage to escape. Camilla successfully brings their plane close to the cargo aircraft, and eventually both planes are connected. Another team member, who is coordinating the mission from the ground, instructs them to land at a different location. Lars's men become suspicious and pull out their guns. At the same time, Magnus reaches the safe and starts cutting it open with the laser. One of Lars's men threatens a flight attendant and orders her to tell the pilot to land at the original destination. Meanwhile, Cyrus fights one of Lars's men while Magnus finally succeeds in opening the safe. The pilots then land the plane at the location selected by the team. The landing is extremely rough, but they manage to land safely. Camilla also lands her plane at the same location. However, after landing, the entire team is captured. Lars's associate checks the gold and informs Lars that although someone attempted to steal it, everyone has been caught and the gold remains secure. Later, Camilla flies another plane with Cyrus on board. Cyrus fastens his seatbelt while Camilla performs dangerous aerial maneuvers, causing the armed men inside to lose balance and crash around the cabin. Another intense fight begins between Cyrus and the enemies. At the same time, a female representative from Leviathan arrives and demands to know where the gold is. Lars promises that she will receive it within an hour. She warns him that if they fail, Leviathan can destroy his entire financial empire. Back on the plane, the fight continues from multiple angles. Eventually, the plane lands directly in front of Lars Jorgensen's mansion, while balancing on top of a moving truck. The landing is extremely rough, causing the gold bars to fall out of the aircraft. Lars's men immediately surround everyone with guns. Then, the Leviathan representative announces that the deal has been cancelled because one of the people involved is connected to international law enforcement. Furious, Lars attacks and kills her. Soon afterward, the police arrive and arrest Lars for murder. Later, the team discovers that they have been betrayed. Abby realizes that the man who hired them planned to keep all the gold for himself. Angry, Abby slaps him for deceiving them and the team leaves. Abby also quits her job and walks away. The man believes he now owns all the gold and celebrates. However, the team secretly escapes on a boat. Abby has no idea where they're going. Cyrus then reveals that he had secretly swapped the real gold with fake gold during the mission. Eventually, the authorities recover the fake gold. Meanwhile, the team uses a remote device to retrieve the real gold from the ocean. Everyone celebrates together, and the movie ends with the team successfully escaping with the gold.